Profit maximizer number 2, financial literacy. What is it? Is the key to lifelong financial success. I learned this the hard way. Financial literacy is the key to lifelong financial success. On average, research shows 50% of the business owners and entrepreneurs do not read the financial statements. They don't. Even though they get their tax return, you show them, what does that mean? I don't know. I just pay whatever in taxes. My accountant handles that. They don't understand financials. They just don't. And I don't blame them, because before I didn't understand financials either. And it cost me dearly, because I was always always been a revenue guy. I'm the guy focused on bringing in, generating more revenue. Revenue would solve all problems. That was my belief until DJ, the co-founder of VEG, then DJ told me that. I learned it from DJ, and DJ said, by the way, put up your hand, DJ, so people know. Yeah, so DJ told me that, then it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. And I thought, oh, come on, man, buddy, we can always make money, because I'm good at making money. I can always generate more revenue. And then when he showed me some of the numbers, when I'm writing some of these checks, okay, maybe we should look at the numbers a little bit, just to see when I'm writing these big checks, something is wrong. That I'm paying everybody else, like for any kind of, like for this, let's say for this project, well, everybody else gets paid more than me. Something is wrong here. Don't like those numbers. How many of you have done that before? Yeah, do a project, everybody gets paid more than you, right? Something is wrong. Something is wrong. So Warren Buffett said, accounting is a language. Is what? Language of business. Accounting is the language of business. Accounting is the language of business. So if you don't speak the language, how do you expect to win the game of business? How do you expect to win the game of business? And that's coming from Warren Buffett. Has Warren Buffett earned the right to teach some of this stuff? Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Love Warren Buffett. You see, today I have a lot of quotes from Warren Buffett actually. So imagine this. How many of you have been on an airplane before? Okay, how many of you have been on an airplane where you walk up to the plane and as you have your luggage, your handheld, and then you walk by paths when you enter the plane, and sometimes you see the pilot there, yes? He's greeting the people, right? Say, welcome to WestJet, welcome, here's the seat, great. And it's all good. Let me ask you a question. What if you are walking by and the pilot says, hey, welcome, shaking your hand, and then suddenly the pilot turns over to the cockpit and say, phew, look at all those dials, man. Good luck. Now, what would you do? You'd be like, stop, get me off the damn plane, right? So you think in terms of, what does that mean? What does that mean? So a lot of entrepreneurs, they are flying, that's their business. They're flying this plane. They have no idea if they're off course. They're at the wrong altitude, and they're running out of fuel, which is cash, and they don't even know because they're not looking at the dials. They're flying blindly, and they don't understand what dials they need to understand, like what do I need to look for. They just look at this stuff like, do I push here, do I do, shit. And you wonder why 95% of small businesses fail within the first 10 years. Think about it. So sustainability comes from knowing what you are doing and measuring your progress. Write this down. If you want to build a sustainable business, you have to know what you're doing and measure your progress. Measure your progress. In fact, repeat after me. You can't improve something you don't measure. One more time. You can't improve something you don't measure. Because you don't even know if it has improved. You're guessing. You're like, I think it is, but I have no clue. I don't know. I hope it is. If you want to build a sustainable business. Here's what I've learned. The goal is not to get rich, it's to stay rich. It's actually not too difficult to become successful. It's actually way more difficult to stay successful. Now, for some of you, I know you are new to business, you may be at the initial startup stage, you're not quite there yet. You may not be able to understand how profound this is yet. Take it for someone. I've almost been financially dead twice. No bankruptcy, but I've been financially dead almost twice. That because I was overconfident that I could always make money and then overspend, overinvest, made some bad decisions, made some bad investment, lost my money, made my money, lost my twice. So now my philosophy is I'm much more conservative that I am. I used to be this crazy, stupid optimist. I'm always very optimistic. Oh yeah, it's gonna work. Yes, no problem. We can always make it happen. Yes, it will come through. Now my philosophy is not like that at all. Now I'm very conservative. I look at risk very, very differently. Before I would think of in terms of any deals that I do, the first thing comes to mind is how much money would I make? How many of you think about that sometimes? When you get, yes, be honest, how much money would I make, okay? Now I look at any deal I get involved with, how much money could I afford to lose? For how long? What is the downside? Can I live with the downside? Very differently. I'm much more realist now. So take that from me. It's not to get rich, it's to stay rich. The whole name of the game, because you notice what happens is in business, usually, if you study successful guys, usually it goes through a cycle. How many can see the economy goes through a cycle? Yes? When the economy is good, a whole bunch of people, even stupid entrepreneurs, they make money. Because the tide, right, the trend, you don't need to be that smart, you'll make money. What happens is usually a 10-year period of time, and then they lose it. And then they try to rebuild it, and then they try to build again, and make a whole bunch of money, and then they lose it again. Very, very common. Very common. What happens is what you want to do is you want to minimize it. You want to make the money, minimize the loss, and then go from there. And that's easier said than done. Easier said than done. Because when you are making money, you think you're invincible. I've been there. I thought my shit doesn't stink. I thought I had the Midas touch, wonder boy, smart as hell, right? And that's when you know, and then usually you lose it way faster than you make it back. So the whole point is you want to minimize. You don't want to have so many of these do-overs. Look at Warren Buffett. Did Warren Buffett make his money overnight? Yes or no? No. He made it through a what? A short period of time, a long period of time. He hasn't had that many do-overs. It's like even lost very, very little. Very, very little. Now, Earl, I know you have something to say, right? Share your story, actually, Earl, from this. Yeah, Mike, give Earl a mic. Because Earl has... No, come here. No, come here. Come on. Earl, round of applause. Hear from Earl. Some painful lessons, man, but share that with them and they can see.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that chart is me. So yeah, when I guess I got into marketing and sales quickly when I was in my early 20s, and I made my first million by age 27. I had sold about $40 million worth of stuff, made a lot of money, thought it was invincible. My answer to everything was, hey, throw more money at it, and it'll just work. And then I got dumb, right? So because when you do that, you lose little brain cells, and I had more money than brain, so that's kind of what I did. Anyway, so exactly like that chart says. I made a bunch of money, and then I lost it all. And then I made a bunch of money, and then I lost it all. So
Twice, right? Twice.
Yeah, twice.
Twice.
So at my peak, I was making $2 million a year, and then at my fall, I lost everything. So almost went bankrupt twice.
Now let me ask you a question.
Haven't gone yet, but yeah.
When you lost it, how long did you stay here?
The first time wasn't so bad. The first time I only stayed there for maybe 3 to 6 months.
Okay, 3 to 6 months. Okay.
The second time was when I lost my shirt. I lost $40 million, so I stayed there for like 3 to 6 years. Yeah. So it took a little while.
So you didn't just lose your money. You lost your what?
Oh, I lost my will, my power everything. So yeah,
Yes.
so completely. But the funny thing is, I'm on the way back up, thanks to Dan, actually.
Yes. Yeah, thank you.
And yeah, so and then the hilarious thing is it's actually coming up faster than the first time. So
Yes.
the skills that you get on the up, you get to keep, right? So just remember that, and don't dwell too much on the down, right? Because don't forget, learn your lessons from the down so you don't screw up twice.
Yes.
But yeah, that's the deal.
Round of applause. And yes, it's very true. Yes, DJ, buddy.
Nice. I just wanted to say, I mean, some people think this only
Mike?
happens to young entrepreneurs. So, I mean, Dan, I've known Dan for almost 10 years. I know a lot of entrepreneurs in their 50s and 60s.
1 second. Get a mic. Make sure they hear it. Thanks, bud.
Thanks. So, a lot of people think this only happens to young, inexperienced entrepreneurs, right?
Yes.
Dan and I've known a lot of entrepreneurs over the years. A lot of people, I don't want to say the names here, that are rather famous in, let's say, the marketing world, for example. I know a lot of entrepreneurs that just took too much risk in their 50s and their 60s and lost it all. So this is not a problem that just happens to a young, inexperienced entrepreneur. This can happen to an experienced entrepreneur. And the natural tendency of an entrepreneur is to take risk, which is good, but it's also the Achilles heel a lot of these times, because these people have been very successful at times. A few examples of people that ran some infomercials. I mean, I know people that made almost $100 million in 1 year running an infomercial. That's a lot of money when you think about $100 million, okay? And within 18 months of that time, they are flat broke, okay? They were smart, they were making a lot of money, they were taking risks, they kept pushing the envelope. As Dan was saying, they're not looking at where the downside is. They're not looking when the market shifts or change. So, for those that don't know much about infomercials, you buy media time in infomercials 3, 6 months up to a year in advance, and you pay for that time.